The treacherous depths of the unknown regions have produced a number of horrors that the civilized people of the Star Wars galaxy don't particularly want to think about. One of the best known of these threats were the Knights of Ren, a marauding group of Force-sensitive mercenaries that have spread chaos and violence in the unknown regions for hundreds of years, inspiring centuries of myths and cautionary tales about the dangers lurking in uncharted space. And eventually this legendary troupe of pirates would reveal themselves to the galactic community during the time of Darth Sidious's galactic empire. But let's put aside the myths and look deeper than their limited screen time in the sequel films to ask, who actually are the Knights of Ren? Well, as we've mentioned, the Knights of Ren encountered during the events of the Skywalker saga were a band of ruthless, murderous mercenaries with a somewhat blunted, raw connection to the dark side of the Force. This was due to the Knights having not received any specific training in the ways of the Force, and them not subscribing to any Jedi or Sith religious dogma. Instead, they followed the ways of the Ren. And this is where these guys get kinda complicated, as the word Ren is usually used to refer to the group's figurehead, as well as the lightsaber wielded by that individual. As such, the way of the Ren states that the Knight should be like a lightsaber. You see, a lightsaber just exists. It has no conscience, it cares not for morality or who it kills. And these are the beliefs that the Knights took on, allowing them to do as they pleased, and not adhere to strict codes like the Jedi and Sith. For much of the group's history, they believed in this philosophy so strongly that they did not even have an official leader. Instead, they were represented by a spokesman known as Ren, who wielded the lightsaber also called Ren. And rather than follow Ren the man, the Knights followed Ren the lightsaber and the way of life it represented to them. There were also multiple Knights to take on the name of Ren and the mantle of the group's figurehead. Aside from the obvious Kylo Ren, there was an individual before him known as Ren, who also took the name Ren from another knight before him. The Ren who preceded Kylo was responsible for leading the Knights out of the unknown regions and onto the galactic stage, aligning them with the Crimson Dawn crime syndicate, led by Lady Qi'ra. Out of a sense of self-preservation, believing Darth Sidious would include them in his purge of Force-sensitive groups, the Knights became a key player in Crimson Dawn's shadow war against the Empire, taking part in a daring raid of Darth Vader's fortress, battling the Sith Lord, and visiting a dark side hellscape, losing 2 of their group in the process of these events. Vader would later be chastised by the Emperor for allowing himself to be outmaneuvered by a gang of rabble with a blunted connection to the dark side and a clumsy application of the Force. Following the fall of the Empire, the group resumed their marauding ways, and eventually, despite their transgressions against him, the Knights became secret allies of the resurrected Darth Sidious and his Sith Eternal cult. Around this time, they also had a brief confrontation with Jedi Master Luke Skywalker and his apprentice, Ben Solo, ending with Ren, who sensed the shadow of the dark side in Ben, telling the young Jedi to seek them out when he was ready to join them. And this invite would be accepted years later, when Ben fell to the dark side, destroyed his uncle's Jedi temple, and sided with Supreme Leader Snoke. With his new master's blessing, Ben sought out the Knights of Ren. But joining the Knights is no easy task. To begin with, one must be willing to follow the way of Ren and have a connection to the Force. And any hopeful Knight aspirant must also choose a worthy target to kill and sacrifice to complete their initiation. Now, this worthy opponent can either be someone close to the individual or a skilled combatant, and in Ben's case, he did both. Upon seeking out the Knights, Ben would travel with them for a while before finally killing Ren in battle and sacrificing a friend from his days at the Jedi Temple. Now having fully fallen to the dark side, Ben took the name of Kylo Ren and assumed a more direct leadership role as the Master of the Knights of Ren. But let's take a moment to look at the individual Knights that Kylo would now call his brothers. Aplek preferred deception and stealth over violence, utilizing smoke canisters to confuse enemies, and a modified Mandalorian Beskar axe for when violence was required. Vikrul, also known as the Harvester, Reaper of the Fallen, and Targeter of Souls, relied on his hatred to fuel his dark side connection, augment his battle prowess, and induce fear in his opponents, allowing him to cut them down with his ultrasonic scythe and harvest their souls. Kylo was considered a walking arsenal, who thrived when destroying things, aided in this endeavour by his multi-purpose arm cannon, featuring a rapid-fire laser blaster, plasma bolt launcher, and a flamethrower, alongside a bandolier of concussion grenades. Kylo's interest in weapon tinkering made him the prime candidate for the role of the Knight's weaponsmith. Trudgeon was a little unique as he liked to collect trophies from his previously defeated enemies. Best seen in his patchwork helmet, which contained parts from a helmet belonging to a defeated Death Trooper. He also carried an enormous vibro cleaver and a smaller secondary blade. Ushar was one of the more sadistic knights, who would regularly torture prisoners, making them beg for mercy, torturing those that did beg for mercy even further, whilst rewarding those who fought back with a quick death. In battle, he would utilise a war club capable of releasing a concussive blast. Ushar also made use of a vibro machete and baradium charge explosives. And finally, Kuruk was the most solitary of the knights, acting as their pilot and rifleman, using the Force to help him aim his multi-barreled custom rifle, capable of rapid fire, sniping, and a pump action mode that fired plasma bolts. And following the assassination of Supreme Leader Snoke, the Knights of Ren would serve as the elite bodyguard of the new Supreme Leader, Kylo Ren, being dispatched to hunt down the Jedi Rey, utilising their starship, the Night Buzzard, a converted Uberlet-class prisoner transport stolen from a prison planet in the unknown regions. It utilised its 3 laser cannon turrets, angular sensor-defying hull, and heat signature cloaking abilities to hunt down the last Jedi. Following the redemption of Ben Solo, he came to realise that the Knights of Ren were never truly loyal to him. Instead, their true loyalties lay with Darth Sidious. So when Ben came face to face with his former brothers-in-arms, whilst they were guarding Sidious's Sith citadel, a battle ensued. And whilst they possessed a fearsome reputation and knew the fighting style of their former leader, they were no match for the might of the redeemed Jedi Ben Solo. So what did you all think of the Knights of Ren? I feel like they were a really underutilised aspect of the sequel films, and the comics have done a good job of building upon the lore around them. Let me know down in the comments below your thoughts, or join our Discord, where we can have a chat about all things lore, and you can send me your ideas for videos. Maybe we'll even have a game or two. Catch you next time.